it's like we never met. Forever leaves fast in the middle of the night. Forever breaks my heart and never says goodbye. Days and nights, skin and bone, I'm still here, but you moved on. I live inside an old photograph. I wish that I could feel your love again. So I live inside that old photograph. And I wish that I could feel your love again. Forever falls in love with the guy that wears sweater vests. She used to be mine, but now it's like we never met. Forever leaves fast in the middle of the night. Forever breaks my heart and never says goodbye.
Well, that's just typical, isn't it? And I don't even know. Oh, my mic's on, but it's awful loud, isn't it? It's looking awful loud. Right, okay, there we go. That was very jittery. And I'm getting, actually, wait, see if I can share my screen with you. That's not looking good. YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. As such, view blah, 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 blah. I'm not going to bother seeing what that means. That's not so good, is it? Right. You know, what can I say? Oh, what's all of these things that appeared up on the screen there? Is that more chat up there? Where's that came from? Oh look, I've got 2 sets of chat going on now. Maybe that's part of it. Right, I can maybe turn that chat off. No, it's a clock. What about that chat? No, that's the wrong one. We'll keep that one on. I have to let you know, you probably know already. Is that the one? No. What about that? Oh, look, that's quite good. I've got some other chat. I can maybe work on that next week, move it over there. Right. For those of you who have worked it out, I'm on medication just now. So I thought that was a hallucination I was seeing there. I've not been very well this week. I injured my back. I can't even remember what day it was, whether it was Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday. It was one of those, Monday, Tuesday or Wednesday. I injured my back moving some furniture. I'm in my new studio here. And I was moving some furniture. I think it might actually been one of the boxes on top of this thing here. A tiny wee box. I lifted it up and I felt my back pop. And it went. So I'm on medication. And it's sending me a little bit doolally. And this, I'm really, really gutted and disappointed with myself. Because this is the first... Hold on, I'm going to shut this thing down now and see if it helps the stream a wee bit. No, memory usage. It said something about memory usage there. I don't know. I'm really gutted and disappointed with myself because this past week, Sunday's the first day of the week, isn't it? It's just not the first day of the working week. That last week, there was the first week in about 2.5 years that I haven't put a video out, at least one video out. Generally I put 2 out and maybe even sometimes more. This is the first week in 2.5 years that I haven't managed to put a video out. I couldn't do it. I sat down here and I thought, well, I'll just do an indoors video where I don't have to go out. But the medication, I couldn't think. I can't think at the best of times, as you know. But I just couldn't put anything together. And I've come on tonight, on this live stream tonight, with no agenda whatsoever. I sat down a couple of hours ago and tried to put an agenda together, but I couldn't. I was just staring at the screen thinking, what am I doing here? What's going on? I did have a look at the CAA regulations to try to find a particular thing that I maybe want to mention. but I couldn't find it. And it's a simple thing about V-Loss, and I should have been able to find it like that, but I couldn't even find that, so I gave up. So I'll talk about it later on off the top of my head, right? And people in the chat can correct me, okay? So I thought what tonight I would talk about really as usual, nothing much. And I'll refer to the chat and the comments and maybe answer some questions and give my point of view on certain things if people want my expert opinion. Actually, you know something, I've said it before and I believe I am pretty expert on the real world. I put my arm up and nothing was appearing there. The real world capabilities of the Mini 2, right? Maybe not so much the Mini 3 Pro, because I haven't delved into that as much as I have with the Mini 3 Pro. I haven't tested it to the same extreme as I have the DJI Mini 2. Lassie, who's there behind me, she is just there. She's in a wee glass case, a wee dome at the moment, and there's Laddie beside her, okay? There's a few wee bottles. I wouldn't be having any of those for a wee while until I feel better, or at least until I'm off the medication. But I think I probably am pretty much expert now on what the DJI Mini 2 is capable of doing, how far you can push her, what she'll do and what she won't do, and how you can get around certain things that she won't do. So if there's any questions like that, for any of you who have a Mini 2 and maybe still have some questions wondering, you know, I'd like to do this with my Mini 2, or I'd like to do that, or can it do this, ask away. And if you highlight it, if you ask before your question at Windswept Robert, it will come up in orange. I can't even show that screen there to show. Maybe I can. See if I move this down here. Wait, I'll just show you. Geez, a wee second. Right, if you type in at Windswept Robert and then your question and your comment, this is what it looks like, right? To me. Right, you see that? So everyone's putting in their comments in their chat, but every time someone does that at Windswept Robert, it highlights it in orange. That's what I'm always talking about. And that means that's where I generally go and click on first. It's my first choice. I don't know why I'm looking up there. You're over there. It's my first choice to get to comments, someone that does that. A super chat will get an instant answer. That'll be my top priority, or a super thanks, or a super hello, or a super whatever it is. They'll get top priority. But then the at Windswept Roberts will get next priority because I can see them on my screen there. Right? So that's what my chat looks like. Let me move that back up to my main screen so I can read the chat there and look at you at the same time. Okay, right. And the other thing I'll talk about maybe a little bit is that although I haven't managed to go out, I'm sorry about my eyes wandering all over the place. It's the meds. Although I couldn't go out and do any filming, and I've been working kind of from home and going out when required to go out. What was I going to say there? Yeah, I have been doing some work on my first podcast, which is coming out on Halloween, the 31st of October. So I've been just starting to put it together and compile it, and I'm going to flick the camera over now and show you. I've kind of started to set up. That's if it's still working, because I think I switched it off a second ago. I did. Wait, I'll just fire it back up. I've started to work on my kind of setup for where I want to do that. And I had it all set up here to show you, right? And I think it's back. So let me just flick over to this camera and see if you can see it. That one there. Right, there you go. So the camera's moved a little bit. And that's not the actual camera I'll be using, right? That one's a wee bit kind of grainy. I'm not using that one. But that's roughly my setup where I'm going to be sitting, doing the podcasts, the ghost stories, the tales, the hauntings and different things like that. I'm going to be doing it from just there, which is just to my right. Left as I'm pointing to the screen. Just over there. It wouldn't be that camera though, because that camera, as I say, that one's a bit. That one's a wee bit. It doesn't take the light as good as the other camera, but I'm using the other camera right now. This is the one. This is the camera that I'm going to be using for the podcast. Okay, so although the podcast is going to be a video podcast, it's going to be purely audio. It's going to be audio as well. You can absolutely listen to each podcast on audio only, and you won't be missing out on anything at all. There won't be references to other screens that I'm showing that you need to see to enjoy the podcast. So there will be a video element to it, and there will be accompanying videos, which I'll get to that. I'll get to that in a couple of weeks' time. Right, okay, so there you go. So I just wanted to show you that. And I see the chat's been flying by here as I've been talking, so you're probably having some good conversations amongst yourselves. That's fine. I will have a wee look at the chat now and say a few hellos, okay? And the very first comment in the chat tonight before we even started is there. It was Maverick's Drone says, isn't it true we all care? I think that was after Maverick's Drone saw the thumbnail for tonight's video, which I threw together because I was racking my brain to come up with a topic and I just couldn't, so I thought, here you go. And then Dave came in about 10 minutes later thinking he was in early, but he wasn't the first. Okay, right, so let me get to the first orange. The first orange at Windswept Robert tonight was Simply Scotland Photography, who said, I'm sure the weekend will rub some cream on it for you. I don't know if cream's going to help, to be honest with you. I think I've got one of the Prolapse discs or something like that. So it's just pain medication, and it's no ibuprofen, but it's the same kind of thing to relax the muscles and hopefully move the disc back in. You know what I mean? Right. Angel Station says, don't know. Oh, you don't know the model of your Fender Telecaster. You've had it for years. You love the thin neck and sound. Records beautifully. Do killer sound for country rock. Yeah, I had a Jim Deacon. Or a JD. What's his name? Can't remember now. I had one of his custom Fender Telecasters as well. I sold it. I didn't like it as much as my own guitar. However, anyway, don't want to get this bogged down into guitars too much. Right, so Jay says at Windswept Robert, hey, one of the presenters, that's in Jay's radio station, which I think I got the name wrong last week, Jay. I typed it in here as torbay.com. I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think it's pamtorbay.com. I think I've got that right. If I've got it wrong, correct me. But I think that's the name of Jay's radio station, and you can tune in and listen to it. I listen to it all the time now. It's my favourite radio station. Well, my equal favourite radio station with another one that I listen to, which I won't name. Right, but Jay says one of the presenters has bought an Air 3, and I had a go on it today, and it's actually really good. Yeah, I imagine it is absolutely fantastic, Jay. I mean, I was, before it came out, I was really considering buying it. I thought that will be my next drawing. But the main thing that stopped me, in fact, I think it was the only thing it was actually the only thing that stopped me from buying it was the lack of compatibility with the RC Pro. I thought, well, I've just spent £800 or £900 or whatever it is on an RC Pro controller. I'm not spending £1,200 to £1,500 on a drone that I can't use the controller with. I'm just not doing it. So that's the reason that I didn't buy it. But for anyone who doesn't have an RC Pro controller, I think the Air 3 is a fantastic drone. And I think it's certainly a lot better than the Mini 4 Pro. Have you seen the problems that people have been highlighting? And I took a little bit of satisfaction in watching some of the YouTubers, and I think we know who I'm talking about here, the usual culprits who come out on the release day with a video of the new drone saying how wonderful it is and how great it is. And I took some satisfaction in noting that they are now all putting videos up saying, don't buy the Mini 4 Pro. 15 reasons not to buy the Mini 4 Pro. Things like, if you are selling your Mini 3 to upgrade to Mini 4 Pro, stop now. Watch this video first. So it gave me a little bit of satisfaction that even although I didn't have a Mini 4 Pro, I kind of knew what was coming. I read the specs, I looked into it, and I thought, and I feel vindicated now. So there you go. Don't know if anyone else has noticed that. But the Air 3, going back to the Air 3J, if as I say, if it had had compatibility with the RC Pro controller, I would have bought it. You know, I have a few things to sell, and I've still got amplifiers and speakers and mics and lights and things. I've got loads and loads of gear. 50 years or 40 years of gigging and collecting gear. I amassed quite a lot, so I've got quite a lot I can sell to buy wee drones and things. So I would have bought it. However, no compatibility makes me think for the same price as the Air 3, or close to the same price as the Air 3, I could have got myself a Mavic 3 Classic because I already had the controller. So I thought to myself, if I'm going to buy a drone, then it'll be the Mavic 3 Classic. However, I'm not buying anything just yet, right? Not at least until after Christmas. Anyway, depending on how much Christmas money I get. Right, let me move on with the chat a wee bit. By the way, I just noticed there that, can I put on my own comment? Oh, I can. Right, Windswept Robert said, the intro is looking non-jumpy tonight, and then Windswept Robert said, spoke too soon. And then Mark said, you spoke too soon. And then Stevie said, you spoke too soon, because it became a little jittery. So I'm wondering now, is this smooth or is this jittery? Because I always get a smooth feed on my, obviously in my OBS studio. I can't tell whether it's jittery or not unless I have the YouTube channel up. And I don't like having it up because first of all, it distracts me. And second of all, I think it might use some resources that make things jittery. So I've taken it down. So if it's jittery, let me know. Right. Jay's done another at Windswept Robert. So up you come. Got you on in Studio 1. Oh, how many studios have you got there, Jay? About 8 or something. Got you on in Studio 1 on the big projector this evening. You're at 8 metres screen. I'm up. Hello, everybody. Hello on the 8 metre screen. Right, okay. All right. Paul Taylor says, the jitters return. Aye. I'm hoping they've all gone now, Paul. And that was maybe just... Sometimes it does that during the intro and sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes that it's the internet and sometimes I think I'm using too many resources. I don't know. That's why I unplugged the camera. Right. Peter Mannering has said, would it help if the stream was 720p? I don't know, Peter. It might. I've done a little bit of testing where I did a wee test where I switched it down to 720 and it wasn't jittery, but then I did it at 1080 a few minutes later and it wasn't jittery too. So there's no way of telling. I can't switch it to 720 just now, and I can't tell. I really don't know. It is what it is, you know. It is what it is. It's not that I'm delivering any 4K quality video that has to be seen in 4K or anything like that, you know, so I wouldn't worry about it. Johnny Mac says it's jerking all over now. Yeah, hopefully that was just in the intro. Right, Dave Cullen says you're fine now. Good. Seems stable now. Your head is on the screen. Okay, Mark Sutherland says the stream is fine now. Right, I think he said all this about 10 minutes ago because there's been a lot of chat since then, so I'll scroll on down. And Graham Lindsay says, how will we know if you are doolally? Is that not your normal state? Pretty much, aye, pretty much. I think the difference that you might notice in me tonight is that I may slur my speech a wee bit. And I think I'm a bit slower and my eyes are wandering a bit more than usual. Right, I keep thinking the camera's up there for some reason, but it's my key light, so it's not the camera. Right. Jay says, like a new studio, how long did it take you in total? Didn't take me long at all. Get the balls a lick of paint and I moved the furniture in. that was it. The lights I already had. So, and of course the whiskey is, you know, it doesn't ever last long right enough. There's some malts there, there's some blendeds. There's a bottle of Red Label kicking about somewhere as well. Is it up there? Aye, it's up there too. Anyway, right. I'll say a few people haven't said Windswept Robert, but there's Shane Hardy. I don't recognise your name, Shane. So hi to you. How you doing? Graham, right? Sorry, you're not well. Like your new studio, Graham from Anglesey. I haven't finished it yet. I'm just kind of playing about with it yet to see. This is the first broadcast from this new studio, and I'm just kind of playing about with it at the moment to see if I like it or not. I don't know. I may make a few changes. I'm not liking these kind of bits down here. They're a bit dark. I might get some other wee lights, but I don't want it to be too lit up, too colourful. I might get some other wee kind of white lights or something for in these boxes. I don't know. We'll see. Mavericks Drone says, how do I thumbs up on a phone? I'm using my laptop. I don't know. I have got no idea. Is there no a wee thing on your phone that's a shape? Oh, aye, if anybody has any thumbs upped, you could do that now. I don't know how you do on a phone, pal. No idea. Gerard McGlinchey says, good evening. Just wanted to know, did you watch the latest video DM Productions done about the mini theme? What's your opinion? I don't know what one you're talking about there, Gerard. I'll be honest with you. I try these days not to watch other creators in the drone niche because when I used to watch them all, I started to get really annoyed because I thought, you're all doing the same. You're all doing exactly the same video. Here's a new update. Here's what it does, which is useful. It's useful. I understand that. People want to know these things. But then a new drone comes out and everybody does exactly the same video. And I don't want to... I want my channel to be a wee bit different, right? Not be influenced to do the same things as other people. Even if they get 100, 200, a million views for a specific topic that they've put out. And I thought, well, if I do that same subject just in my style, I'll get all these views. I'm not really interested in that so much. Okay, I want views, of course, who doesn't? But I don't want to copy anyone. I don't want to be influenced by anyone. So I tend not to watch any of the drone the creators in the drone niche anymore, and that way I when I come up with an idea for a video, it's my idea. Someone else may have come up with the idea too, and they may have done it, but I'm not copying them. I'm not replicating them. So I don't know which. Having said that, I have looked at a lot of thumbnails recently. I haven't watched the videos, but I've looked at a lot of thumbnails of some of the creators who first said the Mini 4 Pro was fantastic on the day of release and are now saying don't buy it, right? But I haven't watched any of the videos, so I don't know which one you're talking about there, Gerard. If you'd like to elaborate in the chat, and maybe have done, I can give you my opinion as I come to it. Paul Taylor says, I like your new DJI Jack Daniels on the shelf. DJI Jack Daniels. Well, I've got a DJI FPV and a DJI Mini 2. I don't know where Caledonia is, to be honest with you. She's kicking about somewhere. And I've got a DJI mic system here. But I don't know a DJI Jack Daniels. Oh, there's a Jack Daniels. That's the honey one, I think. Tennessee honey. So it's not a DJI one. Right, Sopidarity retracted a message. Was it a rude message? Oh, I'm looking over here again. You're up here. Was it a rude message, Sopidarity? Or did you just think ashamed of yourself for putting something up? Peter Mulder says, did you read about the fake UFO landing in Texas a few days ago? I didn't. Fake UFO landing? No, I didn't. But I will, Peter, I will look it up because that is going to be one of the topics in my podcast. Hauntings, conspiracy theories, UFOs, myths, legends, that kind of subject. So I will look into it when I've got a bit of a clearer mind, because I try taking notes at the moment. I read them back later and think, what was I trying to say there? So it there's no point in me doing any much research on things at the moment. Right, Dave Cullen says, what tabs are you on? Got any spare? Could do some for my knee. Oh, I'm on. I don't think I'm going to mention them, Dave. I don't know what YouTube's policy is on mentioning painkillers and things like that. Even that word, the second word that I said, might get me. Oh, I'm not monetised tonight, by the way. That's a thing. Remember how, for those of you who tuned in last week, and we're getting adverts left, right, and centre. I think it was partially my fault. I had monetisation turned on, right, on the live stream, which it was a mistake. I don't monetise the live stream because I don't want anyone to have adverts on while I'm talking away here. You know, it's rude. You know, I don't want that. So look at me slipping away down here, slathering down my chair. So I don't normally put. Well, I don't ever put monetisation, but somehow it had come on. I didn't click it on, but somehow it came on. Maybe they changed the default, and that's why a lot of ads were being shown. But I've turned it off, so this live stream is not podcast, so I don't earn a single penny from this live cast, other than anyone who wants to throw me a super chat. But I don't earn any ad revenue or anything like that. And I'm happier that way, that I know, because a lot of you were getting a bit annoyed last week, I think, because there were quite a few adverts popping up. I think someone even had 3 advert breaks within the 1 wee hour that I was on. And that's not good. I don't want that. So I've turned the monetization back off, and I've tried to save that as my default. So hopefully no one will get any adverts tonight. There you go. So I just thought I'd mention that when it came to my head. Right. And Dave, to get back to your point, I'm not going to mention that because I don't know what YouTube's policy is on mentioning things like that. And it's not monetised, so they won't demonetise it, but I don't want them to give me a wee strike or anything like that, or shadow ban me or anything because I've said something that goes against their policy. And you know what? I think you know what I'm talking about. Right. Jay says the Mini 2 SE is, and see how he's put at Windswept Robert. It doesn't look highlighted there, but on my screen it is highlighted in orange. So he says the Mini 2 SE is excellent as only a fraction of the cost of the newer ones, but just as capable in most aspects. I feel I am more daring with the Mini 2, but use the 3 Pro for best of. It's a good point you make there, Jay. I'm kind of the same. When I'm out, well, maybe not for the same reasons, but I think a lot of people now who go out with either a Mini 2 SE or even a Mini 2 are less likely to be. What was that video I made? That I said throw caution to the wind video when you're out. You know, do things that you think, oh, I can't do this or I can't do that, I might break my drone. Just do them. I think people will be more willing to do that with a Mini 2 or a Mini 2. I'm looking up here again. A Mini 2 or a Mini 2 SE, probably because it costs a lot less. So if you damage it and you don't have DJI Care Refresher, you don't have insurance, it's going to be less costly, a lot less costly. Hit to you than a Mini 3 Pro or a Mini 4 Pro. So I think people are going to be more cautious with a Mini 3 Pro and a Mini 4 Pro because they're thinking, I've just bought this Mini 4 Pro at, I don't know, what is it, £1,000, £1,200 with the fly mode kit. I'm going to be really cautious because I don't want to crash it, or that'll be £1,200 down the toilet. Whereas with a Mini 2, you can pick one up for about £300, I think, from eBay or something like that. So people are like, I just throw it about and do what I like with it, because if I crash it, £300, you know. So people will do a lot more. I find myself when I'm out that I do a lot more I push the envelope a lot more with Lassie, my Mini 2. But it's not for that reason, because she's cheaper. Caledonia. It's because I've tested every aspect of the Mini 2 and Lassie has done everything possible that a Mini 2 can do. So I know what she's capable of doing and I know what her limits are. So I know I can push her really hard. Whereas I haven't done the same amount of testing and testing to the same level with Caledonia. So I am a bit more cautious with Caledonia, even though she has obstacle avoidance, which I'm going to come on to if I remind myself. Even though she has obstacle avoidance, I am still a wee bit more cautious with her because I'm not quite sure what she can, how far she can go before she breaks. Whereas I know exactly where Lassie will break. Right, what was I saying? Goodness me, obstacle avoidance, did I say? Aye, obstacle avoidance. Oh, I wouldn't bother because I spoke about it last week about the obstacle avoidance on the Mini 4 Pro not being very all that good. And I might make a wee video about it anyway. So, but I will, if anyone's got any thoughts about it and they put anything in the comments, I'll read it and have a wee chat about it. Right, Nath DJI says, evening to you. I hope it's Nath and not Nath. It's maybe Nath. I don't know. Johnny Mac says, how was the weather at your end last night, mate? The fog was absolutely incredible. The whole place, you couldn't see 10 feet in front of you for fog. And it was wet fog because there was rain coming down in it. And that's pretty unusual because normally rain will clear the fog away. No, not in this case. It was raining and it was foggy at the same time. You couldn't see 10 feet in front of you. And it was like that since the morning, you know. The river has burst, the river Nith has burst its banks again and the fields are all flooded. My house is at the top of a hill, so I don't have to worry about that. But in the little village, I live in the outskirts of a village, and in the village, which is right at the bottom where the Nith is, a lot of those places get flooded. I don't know if they were flooded this weekend because I haven't been out because of my situation at the moment. But the fields are all flooded, so the weather has been atrocious. It's been raining non-stop for about 4 days or 5 days or something just now. Excuse me. Josh Bell Golf didn't say hi at Windswept Robert, but hi, how you doing? Have you had any holes in one yet? Live long and prosper. Have you had any holes in one yet? And if you do, I hope you video all of your rounds just in case you get one, and you can throw it to me, and I'll put it up on my channel for you. There you go. Right. Mark says, perfect setup for the podcast. I am quite liking that one over there, Mark. Although, as I say, I wouldn't be using... Although, I don't know, I quite like that graininess there. You know, it's not bad, actually. I don't know. I'll do a few tests of which camera I'm going to be using. And I might get people's opinions. I might do a test, one of those A/B testing. I'll put a short monologue of maybe 60 seconds with the two different cameras, put them out and ask people what they prefer. Because some people might look at this. This is clear and bright and lovely, isn't it? But people might actually prefer that kind of graininess, especially for the type of podcast I'm going to be doing. So I'll probably do a test of the two and then put it out and ask everyone what they think. Okay. Graham Lindsay says, is that not the mastermind chair? Do you know something, Graham? I have... I think it is actually, yeah. That's not the chair that I'm going to be using. It just happens to be the only chair that I've got at the moment, right? I've been trying to get myself a nice oxblood Chesterfield, second hand, of course, right? And the few that I've spotted, like on eBay and places like that, they're too far away, like 250 miles away, and I don't know if I could get it in my car. So JJ donated a super chat. Thanks very much for your super chat, JJ. Appreciate that because, as I've said, this live stream is not monetized, so that helps. Thanks very much. Yes, I'm looking for a wing back Chesterfield style leather chair, and hopefully an ox blood red one. When I get that eventually, one that I can pick up close by, or one will get delivered to me, I'll be swapping out that Mastermind chair for the wingback Chesterfield style. So that's what I've been looking. I've been looking for a couple of weeks now, and I can't find it. But I will try. And also, Jay, thanks very much for your super chat. And Jay says, very much looking forward to your spooky tales on the 31st. Will you be doing it live or pre-recorded? I am happy to air your spooky tales on the radio. Get well soon. Shout out on my show tonight. Thanks very much for that, Jay. Yeah, I will be listening into your show tonight. It's 9 o'clock it starts. I will be listening into your show if I'm still awake. You know what I mean? If these meds haven't put me to sleep, I will attempt to. Oh, my chat's locked out. There we go. I'll attempt to watch it, and I'm trying to find JJ's super chat to put it up there, but I can't find. Don't know where it went, JJ. Oh, there it is. There. Right, JJ. Thanks. Hey you. So a wee icony thing. So thanks very much, JJ, for that super chat, and Jay. Jay. I don't know. I don't think I'll be doing it live, to be honest with you, because I do this live stream every Sunday, and I don't want it to be just the same as that, you know, it to be a live stream. And the other thing is, let's be honest, right? I'll be honest with you. I try to be honest with you all the time. I want to monetize my podcasts if I can. I don't know how to yet. I haven't worked out how to monetize them, to be honest with you. I don't know. But if I do it live, I can't monetize you. I can't monetize you. I can't monetize it. Otherwise, there'll be adverts on it, and I don't want adverts on a live broadcast. So I probably won't be doing it live. I'll be recording it and putting it out. And that way, when I start the actual, there's going to be 6 episodes in the first season. And when I do that, I can actually do 2 or 3 of the episodes at one time and put them out weekly. So if I injure myself again, or if I'm not very well and I'm not really capable of recording one in a particular week, if I have kind of batch recorded and putting them out weekly, then I can I'll be covered. So that's probably what I'm going to be doing there, Jay. Paul says, Robert, did you realise you had done the Star Trek Vulcan salute when you waved to the camera? I did realise it. I'm doing it with that hand as well. Aye, yes, I did realise it. I did it on purpose. Right. Mavericks Drone says, how do I find the podcast? I'm not sure yet. YouTube have a podcast section. If when you go into my channel, there are tabs along the top. There's one that says videos, there's one that says live, and there's one that says podcasts. They'll be in there. Each season will have its own playlist, and you can click on the season 1 playlist, and it'll go in and it'll break down each episode, and you can click on each episode. That's how I believe it's going to work. I haven't done it yet, so I don't know, but I think that's how it works. And I think I'm also going to try and put it on some other places like Spotify and things like that, but I haven't worked out how to do it yet. But on YouTube, if you want to find the podcast, you just go onto the podcast tab when you click onto my channel, my homepage. Okay? I think we'll soon find out. Right, I'm going to get to Peter's thingy in a wee second. Right, Jay says, if you can get the audio files to me, I can upload it to the playout system. Okay, Jay, I don't know what that is, that playout system. I've no, but I'll chat to you about it during the week, and you can maybe steer me right on it. Yeah, and if you do, thanks so much. Throne Seekers International, good evening, Robert. Good evening. That will. Good evening, Drone Seekers International. Don't know if you've been in since the beginning. I'm on some medication tonight, which is making me a little bit like that. It's probably Steve. I would imagine it's Steve that's in on that particular DSI, but I don't know. PD Tech says, Robert, if you're looking for an old wingback chair, I am. For extra atmosphere in your spooky podcast, just look behind any care home. You'll find a soiled one. Behind any care, what you mean they throw them out? There's actually a care home at the bottom of the hill in the village where I live. I'd kind of prefer a leather one if I can do, but we'll see. Right, we'll see. So Peter Mannering says, I hope you'll be telling us about Tam O'Shanter. Well, on Halloween the 31st, that would be my pre-season 1 podcast, because season 1 won't be starting until the following Friday, November the 3rd, which is actually my birthday. So that's when season 1, the first episode, will be happening. But the pre-season episode that's coming out on Halloween is the tale of Tam O'Shanter. I will be reciting Tam O'Shanter. And what I will do, in the accompanying video, I will put an English translation, because Burns wrote Tam O'Shanter in the Scots language. We speak 3 languages in Scotland. We speak Gaelic, we speak Scots, and we speak English. It's 3 separate and distinct, fully international recognised languages. Well, Robert Burns wrote all of his sonnets, poetry, in Scots, the Scots language. So I'll be reciting Tam O'Shanter in the Scots language, and there'll be a lot of words and phrases that if you're not a Scots speaker, you won't understand. So I'll be putting an English translation in the description. It's a long poem. A recitation can last between 12 and 15 minutes. So I'll be doing that on Halloween on the 31st. Okay, so there you go. So hope you're happy with that, Peter. Throwing Audit Scotland asked, are you going to add spooky sound effects into your podcast? I probably will. I'm still working on a musical intro to introduce it. I'll probably write my own musical intro and record it myself with my keyboards, my guitars and different things. I'll probably write and record my own, and then that'll just like a 10-20 second short piece, and that'll introduce each episode of the podcast, and probably outro as well. And I probably will add some spooky sound effects, because I do add sound effects and different things into my videos sometimes. Just give it a good wipe. I might contact some of the local care homes and ask if there are any, but I don't know about a soiled one giving it a good wipe. I don't know about that. JJ says, please hit the like button. Thanks very much. Yes, please, could you hit the like button? That would be awful nice. I would appreciate that. I think, like I said last week, I'm not so sure that it does all that much, because as I said, and I showed you last week, if you were watching, I showed you a video that I put out, I don't know, 6-7 months ago, which toddled along doing nothing at all, getting hardly any views, and then at the beginning of September it just took off, and it kind of started to go viral. It's kind of stopped going viral now, but just this month, just in the month of September alone, it got 160,000 views, where it hadn't been getting any before for no reason at all. So I don't know if the thumbs ups and all that do any good, but they certainly won't do any harm. So if you haven't hit the like button, like JJ says, could you? And Jay Richards has become a member. Thought you already were a member there, Jay. I don't know how that came up, why it came up, but there you go. So Mark has put in the chat, I don't know if I can... Mark has put that up in the chat. Is that a link directly to the podcast there, Mark? If so, thanks very much for that. So it seems like that's a link directly to... I assume it's a link directly to the podcast. So Maverick's Drone, if you're still asking, that's how you would get there. If you don't know, to go to the tab on my home channel, that's how you'd get there. Alrighty. Jay is saying 51 in the group, only 20 thumbs up. Yeah, Jay, if people want to put a thumbs up, I'm very happy for that. If people don't want to for whatever reason, then that's up to them. Don't put a thumbs up if you don't want to. Put a thumbs up if you do want to. Okay. Right. Okay, where we go? Dave Cullen says, I am 80 views short of 11,000. You were 10,000 views just last Sunday, I believe, Dave. That's so... You've got an extra 1,000 views, almost 1,000 views in the space of a week. That's really good, because you don't have a huge amount of videos on your channel. And I think you only had about 80 odd subscribers. Maybe you've got more than that now. So aye, that's good. Keep going, Dave. Well done. Well, yes, I'm a member, says Jay. The alert was as it's my 2 months birthday. So that automatically came up itself there, Jay. Because it's your 2 months birthday, it just came up itself. I didn't know that. That's pretty good. PD Tech, yeah, I have been into all of the charity shops. I went in there before I popped my back out. I went into every one in both of the nearest biggish towns to me. I went into every charity shop there was, and what I'm looking for, they just don't have. Right. Oh, and that's it. I am now up to date with the chat. I've caught it all up. Good. It's only taken me 45 minutes to catch up with all the chat. I don't know what you mean there, Jay. It gives you the option to send after 1, 2, 3, 6, then 12 months. Send. I don't know what that means, but I'll, if it's about the podcast, I'll speak to you about that during the week. We'll have a wee chat. PD Tech says there isn't a charity shop in this land that doesn't have a good old Windswept. Well, I'm telling you, I have been into every single one in the two biggish towns closest to me. I haven't been to a city like Glasgow to check. But I've been to the two closest towns, and I've been in all the charity shops. And there's a lot of charity shops in these towns, particularly one of them. It's a bit of a run-down town, so there's plenty of charity shops in it, and not a single wing-back chair of any description, never mind Chesterfield, to be found in any of them. Johnny Max says, well done to Robert. Back pain is the worst trooper, mate. It's actually... thanks, Johnny. I'm not really a trooper because it's the medication's kind of taking care of it for me just now. It's the pain's down to maybe about a 3 or a 4 with this medication, although it is making my mind, my brain a bit more mush than usual. But, I'm a big baby. First twinge of a pain, I'm hammering the pain medication, so I'm not a trooper. I'm an absolute big baby, right? Something different says, what were you looking for in the charity shops? Something different. You must have come in recently. What I'm looking for is, for my podcast that I'm going to be starting soon, that's the chair that I have at the moment. And I want a wing-back chair. Preferably a Chesterfield style, one of these leather Chesterfield styles. And preferably an ox blood red one if I can. That's what I'm looking for. Now, I'll eventually get one, and until I do, I'll be using that chair there, which is not ideal. I'd rather have... It's okay though. I mean, it's comfortable enough and it doesn't look too bad. So I'll use that, but that's what I'm looking for in the charity shops. Caroline, Tyler, RC, they are all being snapped up by spooky podcasters. I think, are there a lot of spooky podcasters already? Oh, here I might be moving into a niche that's got too many people in already. The reason that's the niche that I have picked is because I asked everyone. I asked to give me feedback, and the majority of people who give me feedback asked for this. They asked for myths, legends, spooky tales of Scotland, hauntings, conspiracy theory. That's what everyone asked for, so that's why I'm doing this. Otherwise, I could have been doing a podcast about, I don't know, some kind of technical thing or whatever, but this is what people asked for, so that's what I'm doing. Jay's spooky joke of the week. Why are skeletons so calm? Because nothing gets under their skin. I'll need to get some sound effects up for this. Well done, Jay. Jeez. Right, excellent. What? All right, thanks. The wee Ian, my wee wifey, something different was in all of the charity shops in Ayr on Tuesday, I think it was. She went in. I think she went in on Tuesday and looked in all of the charity shops and she couldn't find one. But yeah, thanks very much. Keep your eyes open, and if you find one, yeah. There was some. Walkabout 16 says an old Val Dooningham chair. Do you know something? I did find a company that was selling Chesterfield's an ox blood red Chesterfield rocking chair, right? And I thought, oh, I'm having that. That's perfect. But I stopped myself because if I don't want to be sitting there telling a spooky tale, and listen, it's a podcast. It's not for people to watch. It's really just for people to listen to. So it doesn't really matter what chair I'm sitting in, to be honest with you, for the audio podcast. And that's mainly what it's going to be. But what I definitely don't want is something like that going throughout the audio. That would just ruin it. So I decided not to get the rocking chair, although it looked really cool. And as I say, I don't think it's a huge big deal. That chair's fine just now because the whole point of the podcast is that the video element will be, I'll just be sitting there, doing the podcast. But it's really all about the fact that it's going to be audio, so anyone can download it or listen to it when they're out jogging, like I said last week, out jogging, taking the dog a walk, doing the dishes, in a bath, on a can, doing the shopping, whatever you want. If you think, I'm fed up listening to music all the time, I'll listen to that Windswept Robert. What tale's he telling us now? You can listen to it there. So it's all about the audio, really. Okay. Dave Cullen says you will look like Reverend I Am Jolly. The Ian said exactly the same thing. She said, you're looking for an I Am Jolly chair, aren't you? On somebody else, one of my colleagues at work said, no, you're going to look like Ronnie Corbett. Because apparently Ronnie Corbett does a monologue in one of these big chairs. So yeah, either Reverend I Am Jolly or Ronnie Corbett, apparently. A pumpkin, aye, that's a good idea. I never thought of that, but I think I should add a pumpkin for the Halloween one, for the Tam O'Shanter one, possibly. And I'll be telling you about the Tam O'Shanter as well. I had my there's my Tam O'Shanter there. Because a lot of people don't realise that this hat, right? And girls wear, they look a bit like berets, right? But they're called tammies. A tammy is just a Tam O'Shanter, right? That's why it's called a tammy. It's a Tam O'Shanter. This is a Tam O'Shanter, right? And this is a hat named after the character in Robert Burns' tale Tam O'Shanter, because this is the hat that Tam wore. This is the hat that was popular back in the days of Burns when Burns wrote it. And Tam O'Shanter wore this and it became known as the Tam O'Shanter. So I'll be talking a little bit about that too when I recite the Tam O'Shanter. I'm talking a lot of nonsense, even more than usual tonight, aren't I? These meds are terrific. I've never heard so much nonsense coming out of one man's mouth in the space of an hour. Right, it's going to be a turn-up in Scotland. Right, aye, we call them turnips. People down south call them Swedes, I believe. Or are those two completely different vegetables? A Swede and a turnip. I think they're the same. Very different for a pumpkin. They're not even associated with a pumpkin. Right, Andy Binnington, throw a tartan blanket over it for now. Could do that. I've got a nice tartan blanket. I could do, but my fear would be that it would fall off in the middle of the podcast or the monologue or whatever it is. But aye, no bad idea. Yeah, I might take it off. I think a tartan blanket over that would look better than that chair for the moment. I think you're right. I'll maybe test that as well. I'll do a wee test with the two different cameras and the tartan blanket over the chair compared with just the chair, and people can give me their feedback and tell me what they think. Because I am always swayed by, if I ask people's opinion, your opinion, viewers, people who subscribe, people who view, and people who watch my content. I like to ask your opinion because it is pretty much you viewers and subscribers and members that dictate the direction of my channel. I want to put out content that you want to watch, you're interested in watching. So I will ask a few questions and put up a few different samples for you to give me your feedback. JJ saying sorry about the rugby. Well, I think Scotland was playing Ireland and we get beat. Is that right? I haven't seen the score. And Peter Mulder is saying perhaps a podcast about Nessie. Well, I did say myths and legends are going to be part of it, so you never know, And the accompanying video will be a drone flight around the area itself. So that's one that I could probably manage. Right, keep in mind the time. Do you know I've been talking for 55 minutes? Would you believe it? I've been talking about nothing for 55 minutes. So, what's this here? Maverick Stone says, we must remember podcasts are audio only. Well, no, not necessarily, no. On YouTube, a YouTube podcast is a video podcast, but it's also, YouTube are also making the video podcasts available as audio downloads. Or well, I'm not sure what they're doing, but my intention is, let me interrupt myself, and I hope I remember what I'm talking about, to say thanks to Graham for the super chat, for the first thing, for fuel, a neep or a chair, whatever. Thanks very much, Graham. And I have forgotten. Aye, Maverick's Drone said podcasts are audio only. On YouTube, they're video podcasts. But the thing is, if you're going out jogging, let's say, for example, with your phone, my intention, the way I'm going to create these podcasts is that you can go out and you can click on the video podcast and listen to it, and it will absolutely work. It won't, there will be no requirement for you to have to watch it to see certain things on the screen. There'll be nothing on the screen other than me sitting in that chair, or a Chesterfield if I get it. Nothing more than me sitting in that chair reciting Tam O'Shanter on the 31st, but telling the tale of whatever episode it is. That's all you're going to see. I might put in a few wee cutaways, screenshots of other things, but they're not required for the audio podcast. So it will be a video podcast, but it's going to be absolutely designed for people who want to listen to something while they're not in a position or a place to watch a video. Like I said, out jogging, walking the dog, doing the dishes, doing the shopping, in a bath, on a can, multitude other things that I can't think of. So that's what it's about. All right. Dogzilla Monster says, do you prefer bagpipes over guitars? Guitars seem easier to tune. I bought myself a chanter many years ago to try and practice to eventually play the bagpipes, and I'm a musician, and it was very, very difficult, and I gave up after about a year because I just couldn't get it right. I couldn't get it to sound the way I wanted it, so I gave up. I love hearing a guitar, hearing bagpipes, and particularly rock music. And if you listen to AC/DC's, oh my God, it's my favourite AC/DC tune. Forget it. Somebody remind me what it is. The one where they go on tour and there's the bagpipes playing in it. It's the Bon Scott one. I forget what it's called now. It's my favourite, all-time favourite. I play it at least once a day, every day. And there's bagpipes in that, and they fit in with the rock music absolutely brilliantly. Somebody remind me what it's called. I can't remember. Right, I think Maverick's Drone's away getting legless there. He's in the pub watching this to now. Peter says, perhaps a green screen picture of an open fire in one's living room. I did consider using my green screen and doing that, Peter, but I decided no, because I don't want to put too much effort into the video aspect of it, because I want to make sure that I stay the course on this being an audio podcast for people who want to listen to it when they're not in a position to watch. I want to keep my focus on that. And if I start to do things like green screen and get backgrounds of a fire and all that, I may get carried over into the side of turn it into a pure video podcast, which means there will be elements that someone who's listening on audio only may miss, and I don't want to do that. No, it's no Thunderstruck. No, not Thunder. Definitely not Thunder. Long Way to the Top. Graham, thanks. There you go. It's A Long Way to the Top. If you haven't ever listened to It's a Long Way to the Top by the greatest AC/DC singer of all time, Bon Scott, who was I think he was the second or third singer, lead singer, who was brilliant, who died and got replaced. Have a listen to it. It's fantastic. It's my favourite AC/DC song of all time. Right, bagpipes all the way, beautiful. I love the pipes. There's another great band, a Canadian band, I think they're called. I saw them a few years at Epcot. Starts with a K, forget what they're called now. And they play the bagpipes. It's kind of rock band, and they play the bagpipes in almost all of their songs. They're brilliant. Right, a minute to go. Right. There you go. PD takes his hold the wing-back chair. As somebody pointed out, podcasts are only audio, no video. Yeah, I hope my explanation about that made sense. I still want, for the people who do want to watch it on video, because you can do, I do want it to be an interesting visual look too, and I'm not so sure that is as interesting a visual look as this type of podcast could be. However, you're right. It's not my main concern. Okay? Right. You could sit in a wooden crate and so your podcast, nobody would know any different. Yeah, for the audio, you're absolutely right. But as I said, it's going to be a video podcast too, and people will watch it. Right, so thanks a lot for tuning in, everyone. Thank you to everyone who gave me a super chat tonight. That will help because the live stream isn't monetized. I do appreciate it. Thanks very much. I'll try and get out and make some videos this week if I'm feeling a bit better. And if not, I will be here next Sunday with a live stream. So thanks a lot. Cheerio with the new.